Welcome to the Realty Rundown, the podcast that cuts through the noise of the real estate world. Your hosts, seasoned industry experts Nick and Nate, are here to guide you through the entire process. Each week, they're breaking down the latest market trends, decoding complex jargon, and sharing insider secrets you won't find anywhere else. Whether you're buying your first home, selling a property, or building an investment portfolio, we provide the clear, actionable advice you need to make your next move your best move.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Realty Rundown from the Nick Wyse team. I'm Nick Wyse.
And I'm Nathan Schwartz. And today we're talking about something that sounds a little intense, FinCEN.
Yeah, FinCEN. We're really becoming the acronym podcast.
That's right.
We got all these Alice home buyers and all this other fun stuff. So, yeah, FinCEN is kind of an amalgamation of things. But before anybody changes the channel and says, I'm tired of these things, this is something that definitely can directly impact certain real estate transactions, certain ones, especially cash and entity purchases.
Yeah, so we're going to start simple. What is FinCEN?
I don't know. I don't know. No, FinCEN.
You need the answers.
The Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. So FinCEN. I don't know, man. The government thought this one up. We did not come up with FinCEN on our end. So basically, it's a part of the U.S. Treasury. What they're focused on is money laundering, fraud, and sanctions enforcement. So real estate is now a target and has been a target because of the ability for anonymous entity purchases.
Mm-hmm.
So FinCEN's goal here isn't to slow down real estate. It's basically to increase transparency.
Yeah, so what's this actually changing?
Yeah, so it'll change here soon. It begins March 1st, and a lot of it's going to be done on the back end. It's going to be title companies working, and they're going to be collecting beneficial ownership information. So who benefits from a real estate transaction?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to report that directly to FinCEN, and then they're going to ensure compliance before closing. So this doesn't apply to everybody. What it applies to is all cash buyers, purchases who are using LLCs, corporations, partnerships, trusts, and then hard money finance transactions. I don't want to get too far into what hard money finance transactions are, but think of them as a bank or a lender that is not necessarily your traditional lender. Sometimes it's folks that have a lot of money and they want to make loans, and they're usually higher interest rate loans.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's an amalgamation of different people who go into business together and do this, but that's why they call it hard money. They often are a little easier in some ways if you get it on a real estate transaction, but they're non-traditional lenders. So that's why they're getting applied into this. Once again, they're looking for fraud. Maybe some of those guys would be a little more likely to commit fraud than some of your local banks. So once again, conventional finance residential purchases are not impacted. So the clarity here that you're going to want to take away is and I also want to mention, even on those cash purchases, it's still confidential information. It's not public record. But really, again, the thing to take away is most transactions won't be affected. But if you're selling your home to one of these entities, it's something to be aware of.
Yeah, so those purchases that are affected by this, should they expect any delays with closing?
It really shouldn't. Title companies are getting out ahead of this, and there's no reason for it to slow closings if there's early communication. If we know when that purchase agreement comes in, it's got an LLC name right on it, or it's marked as a cash purchase, and sometimes that changes. We'll see an offer come in and it's in an individual name, and then they'll revise it and they'll change it and put it into a business name. But as long as you're communicating with the title company, letting them know what's going on, there shouldn't be any delays. And title companies are very much preparing their systems to streamline this process, which should result in smooth closings.
Yeah, so what about everyday buyers? How is this going to affect them?
Yeah, really, this is about bad actors using real estate to hide money. It can happen. Real estate has historically been used for money laundering. People create these anonymous shell entities, and then fraudulently, they try to tie some money into a real estate transaction in a way to move money around. And so they sometimes they'll do it with themselves. They'll buy and sell properties from themselves or through other fraudulent entities and use that to kind of push some money under the rug and then hide some money. Like, hey, they paid $1 million for that 1,000 square foot ranch home in Goshen. If that was in California, that'd actually be a deal, I think. But
it's true.
Goshen, that might be a little bit of an overpay.
You're right. So as far as homeowners go, is this something they need to be panicking about?
No, really not at all. If you're buying with the traditional mortgage, nothing changes. If you're buying with cash, though, or through an LLC, you're going to have to provide a little more documentation. So again, this is about transparency, and that's the direction that all of real estate is moving. Nate, we've talked about that a number of times with the buyer agency agreements and all these other things. It's all about transparency, more and more and more of that. We'd love to see a little bit more of that at the government level, but
yeah,
let's not get into that right now.
That's a hard ask.
Podcast talking about that. But really, we want to be honest in real estate. We want to protect everybody.
Yeah. So if I buy a rental through Totally Legitimate Investments LLC, I'm going to need some paperwork for that.
Yeah, if you name your LLC Totally Legitimate Investments, that might get some red flags with the IRS. Maybe think of rebranding on that a little bit.
Yeah, right. Well, guys, this is a quick one, but to recap, this rule affects certain cash and entity purchases, but not conventional buyers or conventional home buyers won't notice a difference.
Yeah, really shouldn't. Most of you go through your transactions, and just like everything else, we're kind of doing all this stuff on the back end for you anyway.
Right.
Just something to make you aware of. And again, we'd love throwing out these little acronyms. So FinCEN, that'll be everyone talking around the dinner table about FinCEN tonight, I'm sure. All right, guys. Well, stay warm out there. As you can see, I'm bundled up. I got my hoodie on because once again, old man winter has poked his head back out. We got the fake spring, and now it's cold again.
Yeah, no, I'm mad about it again. So it is what it is.
I was like so ready. I had all these outdoor projects lined up, and I was like, I'm going to do them today. And I didn't get hardly anything done. And now I'm like, now it's cold, and I don't want to do it again.
I always say, I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm just going to enjoy it while it's here. But secretly, I definitely had my hopes up, and now I'm crushed. So.
Nope. In fact, today the dog came in with snow on his back. So I'm like, awesome.
This is great.
All right, guys. Well, we digress. Just as always, make sure you're prepared. Have good representation. Good preparation. Good representation prevents problems. So ask questions early when you have them. Document things, and the closing will go smoothly. All right, guys. That is it for this week. Episode 57 of the Realty Rundown. As always, we're here for you. If you got real estate questions, Nick knows.
Nate knows.
That's right. Get your wise replies. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
And that's a wrap on another episode. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you had as much fun as we did. We love sharing real estate insights, but as you can see, we also love to have a good time. This energy and passion is what we bring to every client. Buying or selling a home is a huge deal, but it doesn't have to be stressful. With the right team, it can even be fun. Ready to make your move? Let's connect.